Yeah, I know. Like, come away from this. I know. I might not even upload this. I don't know, but uh, I see these kind of discussion panels, and they're talking about the rhetoric and that, and yeah, Dave Rubin confronted Cenk the other day. Cenk from the Young Turks confronted him on, can't remember where they were discussing it, and he read out some of the, the descriptions, titles that Cenk has on like videos about. Look, you might not have directly called Charlie Kirk a Nazi or a fascist. Anna, now, I'm disappointed in Anna with this. And the thing is, like, we're not trying to hold you singly, personally accountable, but can you at least concede the fact that the totality of the message from the left is that, because if MSM or somebody else says that Trump is Hitler, Joe Biden himself said the greatest threat to America right now is, what did he call it? A domestic, it's like the right wing, it's MAGA. He said that himself, the destruction of democracy. Trump's going to end democracy. Trump's going to be a dictator. Trump is he wants to be a dictator. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. He's Hitler. It's like Hitler's policies. If you can't understand that, the thing is, did you help moderate the language? Did you help to, oh, okay, well, hang on, he's got this policy. What does that mean in actuality? But you didn't. You used inflammatory language. You might not have specifically said Charlie Kirk is a fascist. I mean, I imagine at some point, look, I can say it. There are certain things that Charlie said. I can understand on the face of it, it sounds like racism. But was he racist? Did he interact with people of colour? Yeah, he did. He set up that young black leadership thing with the YouTube creators. He interacted with all sorts of people, different colours, religions, sexual orientations, even people with different. He didn't need to agree with what you did. He didn't need to agree with that. You didn't need to agree with him, but he could still respect you. He didn't, just because he follows, and he was very, very strong with his moral and his Christian values, like his position on abortion. It's very, that is not the typical, the average conservative position, but that was his opinion, and that was based on his moral beliefs and what he thought was right. But this is the thing, right? As much as you say, oh, we didn't, but someone might have said that about Trump, but we didn't say it about Charlie, but you did at some point. You said, look at what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. And Anna, I'm really disappointed in you, because you know that the mainstream media lied about that. When you found out yourself, you didn't even know that there was footage of the whole event. And when you watch the footage yourself, and you can't. Okay, and what else were you wrong about? There was something else that you admitted you were wrong. Oh, the Charlottesville. If you can, because you listened to the mainstream media and you didn't look at it for yourself. You didn't even look at the full context, the full remarks. And it's, you see a 30-second clip. If you'd have listened to 1 minute, it would have made the difference. Do you know what I mean? It's not, or maybe even 45 seconds would have made the difference. But you just listened to the 30 seconds and you believe the mainstream media. Like, I'm not holding you personally responsible. It doesn't matter if you called Charlie Kirk this, that, whatever. It's the language that's used consistently. And when you're pushing this narrative that, the biggest threat to America or to democracy is Trump, it's MAGA, these people are, they're all, and then every name under the sun, do you know what I mean? And the thing is now, a lot of the people using these, they don't know what a fascist is. They don't know what Nazis are. They don't know what Nazis were. They've got no They just use the language. They just repeat what they've already. That's what you did with Cole Rittenhouse for so long. He crossed state lines. Like nobody, because he lived right on the border. That's why his dad lived there. He was working there as a lawyer. It doesn't matter. It's insincere. It's disingenuous, and it's so destructive because of the language that you follow it up with. Carl Rittenhouse was fighting for his life. He didn't attack those people. He didn't go looking for trouble. I mean, and then we go sideways. Like you're going to say in this clip now, I'm not a leftist. Don't put me with the Democrats, or don't label all the. We're not labeling all the Democrats. Just tone the language down. Did you say things like that? Have you added to that misunderstanding? I know you've done your bit to try and clarify things that you've become aware of, but at this point, do you know what I mean? Like, can't you just objectively, factually, reasonably debate the policy and just stop with these personal. I mean, I know on the right now we're talking good versus evil. It's not even left or right. It's like, have you got a good... Can you have a disagreement with a person without wanting to commit violence against them? And violence isn't words. I know, right? And what are we accusing you of? Using words. But you can't deny that if you make these... And it doesn't... There's plenty of blame to go around. We're not angels either. We've done it. We try and come at people with patience and love and understanding and try and discuss and debate. But it would really help if we could agree on the facts. So what we really need are like journalists and a news media, somewhere that actually looks at the facts and debates from an objective, take a step back and take the this person, that person, this label, that, take that out of it and just, this is the policy that's being put forward, this is what it's trying to achieve, what are the pros of this, what are the cons of this, are there pitfalls, are there unforeseen, is this the right way to go, how could we, take, if we've got to talk about abortion, let's talk about abortion, Like the evangelical Christian base, of course, it's like life of the mother is the only exception. It's not right to take another person's life, right? And then we could get into a discussion about the death penalty. I don't think that the shooter should get the death penalty. First of all, he either needs to plead guilty or there needs to be a trial. So at the moment, there's somebody in custody, but I don't know that that's the shooter, okay? Innocent until proven guilty. Like, this is the thing, right? Because on the right, we're guided by some of us, by a moral standard, which either comes from a belief in God or a belief in something greater than ourselves, or just good moral positions, And but then also guided by the Constitution, guided by the rule of law. On the right, that's what we believe. I don't know on the left. I don't know, because they're also lost. You're also lost, and then that's why you end up looking like hypocrites, because my body, my choice. Yeah, when you want an abortion, but when you have to take a vaccine, there are contradictions all over the place with the left. It's unbelievable. Words of violence, but not when you use them. And then we're supposed to it's hate speech if I don't use your correct pronouns, but it's all right to kill someone for having different views and then celebrate that person's death. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just go sort yourselves out, go have a good look at yourselves and come to some sort of And I don't care what you want to call yourselves, progressives, leftists, centrists, the centre. It's just, but you've got to start taking some accountability. You have to realise, because you can't have it both ways, But you can't deny that if you're continually demonising, and I mean the stuff that Maxine Waters said, stuff that Nancy Pelosi has said, Chuck Schumer has said, you can't deny. Then the mainstream media repeats it, and then they bring in all of this, fascist, racist, misogynist, toxic masculinity, whatever the hell, But you can't dehumanize people and then put the fear of God into people who only listen to the mainstream media. And then you wonder why. And the thing is, that dude, I'm not even sure that he's the shooter. That dude, I pray for that dude. And whoever is the shooter, I pray for that dude. Just get some sort of decent moral conviction, or because there's no integrity in what you're. Where's the humanity? There's no consistency. It just seems to be, we're going to do this because, Obama was talking about strengthening the border. I think Biden even mentioned a wall. Trump mentions a wall for the border, and suddenly it's like, it's racist. It's, you know what I mean? You can't. I don't think you can deny the role of the media in this, with the factual misrepresentation and the hyperbolic language and the dehumanization. And I don't care what you call yourself, okay? And Anna, I will give you this. When you've been wrong and you found out you were wrong, you owned it and you did, and I get it, okay? Like I said, we're all a little bit guilty of this. We've all fallen into that trap of the mainstream media. I think Michael Franzese is right when he says that this is all about control, and they're definitely trying to divide people on any lines they can. Is their objective a civil war? I hope not, but they seem to be pushing us towards it. But I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, right? I think, is that because, like look at Keir Starmer over here. He's no better. Like, what the hell is going on? It's like, if you have an opportunity to bring people together, or sort of, and then you just choose like the most. I don't like the steps that. I don't know what J.D. Vance meant. Yeah, I watched him on the Charlie Kirk show yesterday. And I don't know, him and Stephen Miller, and they were talking about, that I don't want to police speech. We're supposed to, I believe in the Constitution, I believe in the First Amendment, but it needs to be toned down. And when you're acting in an immoral way, in an inhumane way, and it's just so wrong. Even when Osama bin Laden was assassinated, murdered, killed, well, I know, or Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein, or it's still the loss of a human life, Yeah, it's a relief that threat has gone, but we both know that there's more people to take up that mantle. And again, a life for a life, I don't agree with that. An eye for an eye, I don't agree with that. But some people do. But it's like I said, we're all culpable. We should all just take a moment and just look at our own behaviour, and look at our own speech and how we interact with people. And what are we trying to communicate, and what are we trying to achieve? And I think the more that we fail to enter a rational, objective Is it subjective? Subjective is when you. What's the one where you don't include feelings and stuff? What's the one where you sort of just try and look at it rationally? Is that objective? I'm thinking that's objective. I think I've got. Is it subject? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. You get the point, right? Let's just try and have these so we can find the common ground. Because when you find the common ground, then you can start to actually make change. You can actually start to, okay, we agree this far. What are the sticking points? How can we compromise on this? What's your, do you know what I mean? But we've got to get past this. And I think some of us, all of us, need to take some accountability for our actions and not shrug it off and not double down. Okay, I'm just distracting myself. Like I said, I'm not sure I'll even upload this. Okay.